And welcome back. The Jed Foundation is a not-for-profit organization that's dedicated to safeguarding emotional health as well as preventing suicide among our nation's adults. The organization recently unveiled a groundbreaking report shedding light on the mental state of, or I should say the state of mental health on college campuses across America. And here now, sharing more, we've got the Senior Vice President and Chief Design and Impact Officer at the Jed Foundation, Dr. Michelle Mullen. And Dr. Mullen, thank you so much for being with us and taking the time to talk about this much needed topic.
Thank you for having me and your interest.
Yeah, I want to start off with a look at some statistics here, which I find are quite glaring and quite problematic. When I look, 12.6 million, or actually that's 1 in 3 people in the United States between the ages of 18 and 25 report having some behavioral or emotional health issue in the last year. That's a lot of people.
A lot of people, and I think that there are real things that we can consider about how we help those folks. And here at the Jed Foundation, we're a national nonprofit that seeks to protect the emotional health and of our teens and young adults nationwide.
When we talk about this, I mean, there are Gen Zers out there and they're looking at a lot of things that they've come into terrorism, they've come into the COVID pandemic. How much does all of this actually play into the mental and emotional state of our young people?
Yeah, young folks are managing many of the things that we managed as the older generation. When we think about college students, like what are the competing demands of, your academics and making friends and developing your identity and your independence. But young people also have a tremendous amount of new pressures too, like social media and the pressure to be like what they see and increased competition and things related to mass shootings and financial pressure. So, what we know about young people is that they have the existing pressures, but also really new pressures. And I think one of the most amazing things that are coming out of this report is that this group is an incredibly resilient bunch of young folks, and that there are real things that we can do to change mental health on campus and to make things better.
So there was a study done, and there's some data that's actually coming out. Talk to us about what are the statistics showing us right now?
Yeah, so our JED Campus Impact Report is a culmination of 10 years of work that we've done nationwide with universities and colleges, and it represents more than 100,000 student voices. And so our JED Campus program is a 4-year program that partners with schools and universities to be able to guide a collaborative process of identifying programs, policies, systems, campus culture to enhance mental health and prevent suicide. So in this report, we saw real improvement across the board. So not only did we see improvements in depression and anxiety, we also saw that students were more aware of mental health resources. We saw a real reduction in suicide ideations, a 13% reduction in suicide planning, and a 25% reduction in suicide attempts, which is really robust for this type of intervention.
And when we talk about these numbers decreasing, that is good news. I mean, that's great news that we're able to see this, and I think all of us can really breathe a sigh of relief to a certain extent. But knowing that these numbers are taking a decrease, what can we attribute them to?
So we contribute these positive results to the implementation of a comprehensive approach on college campuses. So a comprehensive approach is really campus-wide. So when you think about mental health, many people would think about counseling services only, but a comprehensive approach really focuses on what are the other elements in addition to ensuring that people can get access to care of helping support students in campuses, like developing life skills, like conflict management, managing relationships, identifying students at risk. This is not just for counseling services, but for RAs and faculty and staff. So when a student doesn't look like themselves, how do you get them to the place where they need to be? Increased help seeking. So, there's like these campaigns and fairs that campuses do now. They bring out dogs so people come, or they bring food so, the students show up. But it's an effort to get them to know what resources are on campus, to find people that look like them, to get connected. So by implementing a campus-wide approach, this comprehensive approach, there are real things that campuses can do that benefit students. So when they belong and when they feel connected, they're more likely to stay, they have better outcomes. And so as a result of the JED campus, we're seeing some of these improvements.
You're talking about the improvements that college campuses are making, but what more specifically have you been able to see where college campuses are embracing this in the way that numbers are actually taking that decrease?
So that's a really good question. And, I've been doing research on college mental health for the last two decades. And when I would reach out to colleges and universities like 2 decades ago and say, like, oh, are you interested in participating in a trial or research on mental health on campus? They say, we don't have mental health issues on campus. And today there is not one university or campus person that would say that same statement. Like colleges are acutely aware that there are real needs on campus. And because people are aware and the conversations are now able to be different, there's increased collaboration, there's problem solving. Campuses and colleges are really, really interested in protecting their students. They are invested in it. And for a long time, there was stigma or about people talking about mental health. And so now we also are seeing that change because our students are changing. They're more willing to talk about mental health. They're more willing to talk about their struggles. So by implementing a comprehensive approach, we're really seeing that college campuses are changing and are able to promote and support college students better.
I think it's exciting to know that these numbers are going down. For a long time, we really would, shake our heads and wonder what could be done when we hear of, suicides or suicidal ideations in the lives of our young people, understanding that, sometimes their mental capacity is being challenged simply by what they're seeing in life and not being able to really navigate that. There are still those that are out there that are dealing suicidal ideations, depression, emotional instability. Where do they go? What do they do if they're on a college campus or around? And it seems as though they don't have that tie-in.
Yeah. So the JEC recommends that young adults reach out for help. So you're not alone. Lots of people are struggling, but lots of people want to help. So reach out to a professional, to a friend, to a trusted adult, a family member. JED recommends for young people, if they need help, to reach out and use the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. We also recommend the crisis text line at 741-741. But there are services out there that want to help.
So for somebody who wants to get a hold of maybe the study and find out some more information with regards to that and or, finding out information with regards to services, where do they go?
So the jedfoundation.org is our website, and I encourage folks to go check out our resources. The JED Campus Impact Report is right on our landing page, so easy to access. Find out what we're saying in that report, what's happening on campus, what are some of our recommendations. And we have tons of other resources on our website related to how you can help a friend. So it's for students, for loved ones, parents, colleges, and universities. So the jedfoundation.org is a great place to go for additional resources.
Dr. Michelle, I could keep you here for a long time, but I got to keep moving. But I want to ask you this before we go. If there are some recommendations that are out there, we know that if there are recommendations that are out there, give me a couple of them real quick as to what you've seen and what you're recommending.
So JED is very clear for colleges and universities. Don't wait. Prevention is key. Implementing a comprehensive approach saves lives. So one of the things to consider is it's not a counseling problem alone, that it is a campus-wide issue. So don't wait for something to happen on campus.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We have Dr. Michelle Mullen, who's been sharing with us a little bit about what's going on college campuses. We're glad to know those numbers are really going down, but the reality is 1 in 3 on college campuses deal with emotional issues, suicidal ideations, things of that nature. And thank you for JED for really spinning a light on this, because much needed, and we can bring you back for another conversation. Thanks a lot.
Would love that. Thank you for having me.
All righty. Well, listen, if you want more information, visit the website, jedfoundation.org. Encourage you, don't go anywhere. We'll have more open coming up right after this.